the most effective ways to improve customer service is to create an entrepreneurial environment in your organization. Let me illustrate. One evening I went to the movies with my brother. We came out at 9:45 at night, and we've been going to movies together ever since we were little kids. We just love films. And do you know how you feel you should be sensible and go back to the hotel? But you're having such a good time, let's squeeze in one more movie. 10 minutes before, 2 blocks down the street, a high-action film had just started. As you know, with high action, it doesn't really matter if you miss the beginning. We're racing down the street, brother's explaining the storyline to me, and we get there exactly 15 minutes after the movie starts. I said to the cashier, I know we're late, but we want to come in, 2 tickets. She said, you can't, I closed the till. I said, well, put the money in the till tomorrow. No, not once we close the till. Now, I'm a great believer, if you don't like the first answer you get, just talk to somebody else. So we went to the guy who was actually taking the tickets. I said, I know we're late, but we really want to come in. Put the money in the till tomorrow. Let us in free. Too big a decision, he calls the manager. By now, we've missed 20 minutes of this movie, and suddenly we want to see this movie more than we want to see our own mother. I go through the choices. The manager says, no, not once we close the till. We don't let in people like you. As I was walking out, I turned around and said, you know, it's very obvious none of you here own this business. Because the #1 key point in business, if people want to give you money, you take it. Now, owning the business does not mean your name is on the door. Owning the business is a commitment, a philosophy, an attitude. In today's competitive business environment, we realize a profit by meeting our customers' needs. Not long ago, I was selected to speak for American Express. This was part of their Quality University. And at lunchtime, I had dinner with one of the managers. He said 2 months before, he'd gone to a big mall to buy some chocolates to give to his staff as a prize for a project they finished. 2 candy stores exactly opposite. Put his head in the first one and said, excuse me, do you accept American Express? They said yes. So went in, made his purchases, walked over, put them on the counter, and noticed, although they accept American Express, they did not display it on the till. They had MasterCard and Visa. He turned around, looked exactly opposite, and saw across the mall the other candy store displayed the American Express symbol. He said, you do understand I work for American Express? You take our card, but you don't display it and your competition does. I have to go over there. Young man, about 17, just wiping down the counter, stocking the shelves, said, sir, hold on. He ran across the mall to the other candy store. He picked up an application for American Express. He ran back, he cut out the logo, stuck it on the till and said, is that good enough? You see, entrepreneurial employees take the initiative. I don't know what made that young man do it, but that's the attitude we have to develop in our people. For years, I watched people give out business cards. And I realized if other people are giving out 1, I should give out 3. 1 for you, and 2 for the next 2 people you could refer to me. Entrepreneurial employees take the initiative and go beyond their competition. The National Speakers Association had a winter workshop in a large convention hotel. I was on the board of directors, and 6 of us adjourned to the coffee shop to continue our deliberations. Now, you understand we weren't trying to be awkward, but no one wanted anything exactly as it was presented on the menu. Nobody wanted the same as anybody else, and being speakers, we were yakking the entire time. At the end of the meal, I said to the waitress, my dear, this is going to be worth your while. These guys are big tippers. And she said something I've never forgotten. She said, I'm not being nice to you for a tip. I don't care if you don't give me a tip. I just feel if we give your group good service, if you come back to our city another year, you'll bring your business back to our hotel and not the competition. You see, entrepreneurial employees take ownership. They act as if their name were on the door. Although leadership comes from the top down, as with the waitress, it also comes from the bottom up. Have you ever had the experience where you call a company, you're put on hold, transferred, put on hold, transferred, put on hold. Somebody says, oh, someone will get back to you in the morning. And then 3 days later, with no call, you start the process again. One CEO from one of the largest companies in North America wanted to teach his employees entrepreneurial thinking. And he came out with a very simple rule. Whoever picks up the phone owns the problem. Do you know I called one company 13 times? And 13 times I heard, he's not at his desk, he's not at his desk, he's not at his desk. I said, then drag the desk to where he is. Do you realize how frustrating some people are to do business with? You see, owning the problem does not mean solving the problem. It means entrepreneurial employees take responsibility, even if they are not actually responsible for solving the problem. Entrepreneurial employees accept responsibility. Now, how do we get our people to do this? One of the best ways is to let them learn from their own experience. When I present seminars in companies, I always ask the audience to tell me some of their good or bad customer service stories. Isn't it sad that we can usually think of bad stories first? A woman in a seminar told me she went to a store to buy a leotard for her child. She took it home, hadn't taken it out of the packet, but found it was the wrong size. She took it back the next day and said to the assistant, "Can I change it for a different size?" Guy says, "What do you mean? You don't even know what size your own kid is?" Then she made another purchase and made the mistake of putting the next day's date on the check. He got a pen, threw it across the counter, said, "Will you initial that?" She went up to the customer service department. She told them this story. And do you know what they said? "That must be Anthony." Now, this is a company who advertises we care about our customers, and they know about Anthony. Another gentleman told me, I went in to buy a mattress. I said, "Why did you pick that store?" He said, "Reputation, advertising, word of mouth." Walked in the store. The man was sitting behind the counter with his hands in his pockets. Stood up. Gentleman said, "I need a semi-firm mattress." Guy walked over, pointed with his foot. He said, "Well, that one's pretty good. Now, that one's a little bit cheaper." He did not take his hands out of his pockets. He might have changed feet, I don't know, but he kept pointing with his feet. Man was not impressed. He said, "Well, I think I'm going to go home and discuss it with my wife." Guy says, "What do you mean? You don't make the decisions in your household?" The man said, "Yes, we're buying from your competitor." What's the point? The point is, a good way to get our people to think entrepreneurially is to get them to share their own customer service horror stories and use them as a learning experience. One of my friends, Al Stanton, one of the youngest 78-year-old men I know because of his attitude, told me early in his career he worked in the traffic department of the Zellerbach Paper Company. And one of his duties was to organize the travel arrangements for Mr. Isidor Zellerbach, who was the founder of the company. Now, Mr. Zellerbach was a nice man, took a sincere interest in the young man who worked for him, and one day told him this story. When the company was new in the Northwest, one of their truck drivers was driving along a rather long, narrow road. He was stuck behind a man driving a big, impressive-looking car. And because the road was so twisty, it took him about 20 minutes before he could pass. He rolled down the window and called out, "You blank, 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 you want to take up the whole road?" with the Zellerbach name all over the truck. Well, naturally, as fate would have it, the man driving the big, impressive-looking car just happened to be the owner of the company that was the largest purchaser of Zellerbach products in the whole state. He went back to his purchasing agent and said, "Cancel all orders we have with Zellerbach and never, ever do business with them again." Took 2 months before Mr. Zellerbach found this information. He called the man on the phone. He wouldn't accept his telephone call. He flew from San Francisco to the Northwest. He said, "How come when we give you good service, prompt delivery, and great prices, why would you stop doing business with us?" And the man told him about the truck driver. And Mr. Isidor Zellerbach said to Al Stanton, "At that moment, I realized that we had overlooked the most important aspect of our business. And that is that even the janitor represents our company to the outside world." And at that point, they put together a training program on politeness and human relations for the truck drivers. And for many years, they had the reputation of being the best on the road. Let's review some of the things we need to remember to create an entrepreneurial environment. 1, take ownership of problems. 2, do more than the competition. 3, think like a leader. 4, learn from customer service horror stories. And if we do this, we have gone a long way in creating a customer service environment. One afternoon, I'd just given a speech, and I had to go to make a sales call on a gentleman who was considering hiring me to speak for his company. His secretary said, "Miss Fripp, he's half an hour late. Would you like a cup of coffee?" I said, "No, I'm going to the store opposite to buy a pair of hose." As I walked into the store, I was greeted by this dynamic, incredible, fun sales assistant. She said, "Good afternoon, don't you look nice? What are you in here for?" I said, "I just need a pair of hose." She said, "I work in the shoe department, come talk to me." I said, "I'll be honest, I have so many shoes, Imelda Marcus stops by to admire them. But I have 28 minutes, I'll come talk to you." So I wandered around, got a couple of pairs of hose, went back in the shoe department, and she was so much fun. And you know, when people are fun, when people are easy to do business with, sometimes you're willing to spend a little money you hadn't figured on. I thought, well, perhaps I could do with a turquoise pair of shoes. And I'm looking down, admiring my new shoes. She said, "You know, you really do look nice. What do you do?" I told her that I travel worldwide talking about good and bad customer service. She said, "I could tell by the way you were dressed. You were somebody important." Thought, well, I have about 16 more minutes. Maybe I should tell her how important. I said, "Next week I'm going to a convention of the National Speakers Association. They are going to make me their first female president." She said, "For somebody that important, do I have a dress for you?" Now I went in to kill 28 minutes and buy a pair of hose. I ended up with 2 pairs of hose, a pair of turquoise shoes, and an exorbitantly expensive beaded evening dress. Because that young lady understood something in her business we have to understand in ours. And that is, good customer service is exceptionally good for business. Now, may I suggest to you that most customers today expect good service to be part of what they're paying for. Doesn't matter what the cost of the item, whether it's a product or a service, they think they are paying for that. What we have to do is look for ways to exceed their expectations. One of my friends, Gary, runs a small boutique bank. He said on a Friday, we close at 5:30. At 5:20, an elderly woman called and said, I need to come in and cash a $200 check. When do you close? I'm 20 minutes away. Now, they close in 10 minutes. She's 20 minutes away. He asked me, and I ask you, what would good service be?
Stay open.
Stay open. That's exactly what I said. But he said, we don't give good service. We give exceptional service. We said, stay where you are. One of our employees on their way home will drive by, drop off the $200 and pick up an endorsed check. It turned out this woman was quite wealthy. She just had a small account with their bank, and most of her assets were with a large national bank. But when she found out they cared, she said, can you look after all my other financial needs and investments? They said yes. So she took all her money out of the big bank and gave it to them. One day I walked into a store and bought a desk. And on the desk was a lamp. I thought, the lamp looks terrific in the store. It will look even better in my office. I asked the assistant, can you add the lamp to my bill? She said, well, I'm sorry, madam. This is the office furniture department. You need to go to the lamp department. Went up a couple of escalators, looked around, didn't see one exactly like the one I wanted. The assistant said, look through the catalogue. Said, flick, 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 flick. Didn't see the one I wanted. She said, well, it must be an old model. I said, not a problem. Can I buy the one that's on display? After all, I've been on display myself many times, and I still work perfectly well. She said, if it's on display, you need to talk to the display department. So I went down another couple of escalators, looked around, found a door, spoke to a young man, asked him if I could buy the lamp. He said, madam, we are display. We don't sell, we display. Perhaps you'd like to talk to the customer service department. Now, you understand the customer service department used to be the complaint department. They changed the name for the same reason the War Department is now the Defense Department. It's just better PR. Front page money section of a business newspaper, headlines. This company was fighting back for its market share. Maybe they wouldn't have to if they would take our money. Now, in all fairness to that company, we've all been through some very challenging times. But we have to really look at how we can serve our customers. If we create a good customer service environment, we have to make it easy for people to do business with. To do this, we have to teach our employees to be proactive. One day I was wandering through a store that is well known for its customer service. I was in the dress department and I saw on the display was a necklace. An assistant was walking by and I said, can I buy this necklace in the jewelry department? She said, would you like it? I said, yes. She said, don't bother. She pulled it off the display, walked over the till and wrote up the sale. Now that was being proactive. That was not overlooking the opportunity. Because think about yourself when you go shopping. So often you might see something, but if you have to go to another department, you're waylaid, the line's too long, you don't take advantage of the situation. Being proactive not only helps us build our business, it helps us create a really good customer service environment that's good for everyone, the customers and the business. I used to own and manage an upscale hairstyling salon. I trained my stylists to ask new clients how they came to be doing business with us. But I also asked them to make sure they found out why did people leave their last hairstylist. Think about it. What good research you can do from your own customers, because the reason they left the last place of doing business is probably the reason they will leave you. Now, in the hairstyling business, and you can all relate to this yourselves, what people found, the number one reason, was that after about 3 haircuts, the stylist considered them their customer and stopped selling. We have to work as hard to maintain the relationship as we did to get it in the first place. You see, the real sale comes after the sale in a customer service environment. Now, there are many ways we can get information on how our customers perceive our service, as well as asking them. Just think of who else might they talk to about the experience. I was staying at a very nice Hawaiian resort. The gentleman who was driving me to the airport in the limo service did not belong to the hotel. It was an independent shuttle service. I was the only passenger and always looking for fun conversations and information for my speeches. I started chatting with him. And I said, I bet all the people really tell you the truth on the way to the airport about their experiences in the various hotels because they know you don't work for them. He said, yes, not only do they always tell us what they really think. Now listen to this. The general manager of the resort you were staying at, once a month he comes down to our facility, brings a box of donuts and chats with the drivers. Now, for the price of a box of donuts, he got more information than if he had spent thousands on management consultants. I want to encourage you to look at who else would hear from your customers. Today, as a speaker, when I work with meeting planners, I always ask them, in order to serve you better, what did you like about the other speakers you've hired? What didn't you like? How can I serve you better? It teaches me to serve them better. And anytime I hear positive things about other speakers, I always make sure they know. Because people who really work to create a good customer service environment in their business, I believe, like to share in other people's successes. Now, as we're building a customer service environment, not only do we have to maintain the business we have to constantly look at getting new business. And there are 2 principal classes of people we market to. Those who know and love us, and those who never heard of us. Now, isn't that profound? I believe most businesses spend more time trying to develop new business to the detriment of developing stronger relationships with the customers they already have. I was giving a seminar at a convention, how to promote your business without spending big bucks. And a woman came up to me and said, well, I'm an accountant and I really have enough business. I don't know that I need your session. And I said, well, sit down for 10 minutes, take some notes. If it isn't what you want, go to another session. And for 2 hours, she sat there making copious notes. Well, imagine I was rather impressed because she didn't think she needed the session. At the end, I said, I noticed you didn't leave and you seem to be taking lots of notes. What were you writing down? She said, listening to you, it really occurred to me. although we don't really need any more business, we are not nurturing the business we have. And if I don't go back and teach my employees to nurture the business, we are going to be looking for more. I believe our best customers are actually the hottest prospects for our competitors. Remember, the sale is always after the sale if you are creating a customer service environment. In business, if we make a sale, we make a profit. If we develop a relationship, we build a business. The first week I opened this upscale hairstyling salon, one of our clients, a multi-millionaire, Manny Lozano, said to me, "I don't care when you cannot squeeze another customer into this salon. I don't care when you can't get another hairstylist in here. You still keep promoting, because you always have to resell the people who are your clients. This is still the best place to come. And you always have to resell your employees. This is the best place to work. Never stop building your business and your reputation." And people do business with companies and organizations. But those companies and organizations are represented by people who have to buy in to our general philosophies. Another important point I don't want you to forget, and this is that we have to train everybody to tell our customers the truth. Got off a plane, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'd come from a different time zone, so my body was telling me, you know, it's really 2 a.m. I expected a shuttle to pick me up, called the hotel, and they said, "Well, Miss Fripp, the limo came out half an hour ago, you weren't there, it came back." I said, "Not a problem, can you send me another?" The voice said, "I'll try." I said, "You don't understand, this is 2 o'clock in the morning, my body, I do not want to hang up and pray to St. Jude." Now, I will happily pay for a taxi, but I don't want to charge my client if you will send me the hotel shuttle free. He said, "It'll be a few minutes." So me, telephone, baggage carousel, one tattered, unclaimed piece of luggage. I watch it go round for about 8,000 revolutions. I call up, "This is Miss Fripp. Where's my hotel limo?" "Oh, Miss Fripp, we never send anyone out after 10:30. I got my taxi. I walked into the hotel. And I know at midnight, anyone who is stomping and shouting and carrying on is going to get a lot of attention. So money came out of the till to pay for my taxi. They upgraded my room. They sent me fruit, wine, cheese. Now, a couple of years later, went back to the same hotel. This time, it was ahead of the game, 3:20 in the afternoon. I call up, "This is Miss Fripp. Here, waiting for my hotel shuttle. How long will it be?" 10 minutes. Okay. Me, telephone, baggage carousel, same tattered, unclaimed piece of luggage. I watch it go round for 20 minutes. I call, "This is Miss Fripp. How long will your hotel shuttle be?" They said 10 minutes. I said, "Cross your heart and hope to die." She said, "In that case, you need to talk to the bell desk." I said, "This is Miss Fripp. I have waited 22 minutes for my 10-minute limo. How much longer?" 10 minutes. Okay. I waited 50 minutes for my 10-minute limo. Now, I'm a great believer there is no point complaining to anyone who cannot do something about your problem. I did not shout at the driver, but I said, "Please do not make inane conversation." I mean, don't cheerful people get on your nerves when you're bad-tempered. Got to the hotel. I said, "Who is your general manager?" "Good afternoon. You don't know me. My name's Patricia Fripp. I travel worldwide talking about good and bad customer service. Let me tell you one story I already tell about your hotel." He said, "Stop telling that story. I said, let me tell you the one I'm adding to my repertoire. Well, of course, I get the fruit, the wine, the cheese. That's how you live on the road. You complain, and they always send you fruit, wine, cheese. But more important, I had a note that said, thank you for not shouting at the driver. It wasn't his fault. Thank you for letting me know what we have to be aware of to improve our service. And I promise you, every bell person, every desk clerk, every manager will know exactly what time the limo leaves so we can tell our guests the truth. I think we have to be open for feedback from our customers. I went back there a few months ago. This is Miss Freeb. You know, somewhere in the back is my name with the sign troublemaker, troublemaker, troublemaker. I said, how long before your hotel limo is here? They said, 25 minutes. I said, thank you. I won't wait. Now you understand, I do realize late at night you don't have as many staff. I realize that you can't be available on a moment's notice. But all I say is, tell me the truth. If I shouldn't wait, let me get a taxi. If it's going to be 50 minutes, tell me the truth and I make the decision. Do I want to have a cup of tea and read the paper? Do I use the phone? Or do I get a taxi? Now, I would encourage you to all look in your organizations and look at all the different situations where people give information to your customers. And look at, would it be better to say, I don't know, I'll get back with the information? Creating a customer service environment, creating an entrepreneurial environment, we have to make sure everybody tells the truth. So in summary, if we're going to create a customer service environment, we have to remember that good customer service is exceptionally good for business. We have to always look for ways to exceed people's expectations, and sometimes that's just doing what you promise. We must be very easy to do business with and not overlook opportunities. We have to encourage our employees to be proactive and nurture the relationships we have, at the same time developing new ones. When you do all these things, you will have gone a long way in creating a customer service environment in your organization.